And so, beloved masters, welcome to the new year. In the year 2016, we are going to talk about sacred alchemy. The use of energy that a master creates in his or her life in order to bring about the things that they most desire. It isn't about thinking. It isn't about doing. In fact, beloved masters, we have suggested, and I will suggest again, that you visualize yourself moving to the gate of higher frequency. And there at the gate, you turn and you say goodbye to logic and practicality. They have been companions along the way in the illusion which, truly, beloved masters, has been a shadow of truth. And now it is time for every human being on the planet to step into higher dimensional frequency. It's available to all right now. It is right at the tips of your fingers, just beyond the veil of disbelief that the illusion has created. Alchemy, to transmute, to transform, to transcend. To transmute, to allow the violet flame, the sacred transmuting fire, to change the energy within yourself from the leaden, negative, depressing discouragement of the illusion. And as the violet flame lifts the heaviness that most people feel in the center of their body, in the soul center, actually, and many actually experience it in their head, in the middle of the head, where the pineal and the pituitary are creating dramatic shifts of consciousness for the whole. To transmute that negative energy, to feel within yourself enlightenment, to feel the heaviness of your mental faculties releasing as though someone has untied a knot in your head. You may feel the tension down the back of your neck and across your shoulders. You may feel it across your lower back, just below the waist. That feeling of being unsupported in the world. So the violet flame transmutes, changes that heavy leaden energy into the golden essence of Christ consciousness, of sacred love, of higher dimensional frequency. And so, beloved masters, as the energy is transmuted, then you began to feel that transformation within your physical form. It transmutes and then it transforms how the energy of all of your systems, all of your bodies function. So that the state of your health and well-being, whether it is physical, mental, or emotional, begins to feel cleaner, clearer, stronger, more aligned, more powerful. The transmuting energy of sacred alchemy can actually, if the entity is willing, bring a healing. So, beloved masters, the transmuting essence of sacred alchemy is not something that you think in your head and you tell yourself, you've got to do this. I told myself to transmute. I told the energy to transmute. But nothing happened. Because you can't force spiritual energy to respond to the demands of the ego mind. So transmuting the energy is really about surrendering all of the things that you believe you cannot live without. Even if it's anger and fear and frustration, many people at this point in time on the planet feel as though they cannot live without these fortifications for battle. And yet the more that you war, the less you get. And the less you get, the more frustrated many people become. So, allowing the sacred alchemy, the violet flame, to move through your cells, to envision the white light of God pouring through the crown of your head, moving through the cells of your body, down through the brain, through the muscles, nerves, bones of the face and head, down the neck, all the way down the spinal column, across the shoulders and down the arms, filling every organ. And you don't even have to know them. Some people can say the lungs, the heart, the kidneys, the stomach, the intestines, the spleen, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, but you don't have to know them. You do not have to be a student of anatomy for the white light to know exactly where it is required to go, because after all, God created you to begin with. Through the lower abdomen and down the low back, the hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves of the legs, the ankles, the feet, and the white light washes old negative energy away out through the soles of the feet. Cross your ankles, close your thumb and forefinger, and allow the white light to fill you just as you would fill a glass. And then allow the violet flame to move through all the systems of the body. Most assuredly, the emotional and mental bodies require special attention from the violet flame, because the intellectual mind and the emotional reactivation that the mind can create are dominating the planet now in this time. And as you just allow that transmuting energy of the violet flame to touch the hormones, the nervous system, to lift your consciousness, to lift your energy, to move your focus from looking for what is wrong, what can fail, where things are about to fall apart. Because, beloved masters, there is a lot of focus being directed to these areas on the planet as fear is being used as a motivational tool to drive people to make frantic choices. Because when you're afraid, you are in fight or flight syndrome. When you are afraid, you cannot think clearly. When you are afraid, you cannot feel. When your soul speaks with you, you cannot clearly identify your own intuitive energy. So, allowing the violet flame to help shift your consciousness, your focus, to positives. The ego mind will say, but we've got to be realistic. And I will tell you, beloved masters, that the illusion that the ego has created is anything but realistic. It has been based on smoke and shadows, facades and illusions. It is the shadow of truth that you have lived under for such a long time. And now, Revelation is seeking to bring all of humanity to witness a brighter, clearer, more powerful, more positive planet. In the midst of crisis after crisis of fear. There are things that are changing, beloved masters. The economy must go in a different direction. When corporate interest drives the stock market, and everyone looks to what the stock market is doing as to whether the planet is economically well, rather, beloved masters, than looking at what people require for the highest and best good. So there are, yes, required shifts and changes. And as we speak to you of the sacred alchemy, as you utilize it with yourself, and it creates changes within you, then, beloved masters, in the greatest of love, you can energetically implement changes out there, but demanding that changes occur outside of you when you don't want to change yourself is simply an exercise in futility, because change always begins within. Change always happens first within each individual. So the changes in how the money market of the world functions that will bring any and all people together in a much more harmonious and globally interdependent function. And yes, the violet flame can help to dispel the fear in the world, not because there is an intellectual intention. I want the violet flame to change everyone from the inside out. Mastery is not about domination and control. It is not about one person deciding how others must live. But the violet flame honors the fact that you were all designed with free will. So the violet flame does not go in to force anyone to be anything that is against their free will. The violet flame is love without a condition. And in that, it transmutes things that are not about love. Every one of you is powerful. Many of you have come to the place in all of the latter-day illusions where you believe that you don't matter, that no one cares, that no one sees you or hears your voice. And yet, beloved masters, each and every one has such a powerful field of influence. And the prayers that you put into that field of influence. And as an ascended master, I will tell you, prayer is not telling God what to do. Prayer is not begging for something that you don't believe you have. Prayer is affirming your desires and intentions for the highest good of all concerned, you also included. Because, beloved masters, if you are watching the good happen to others and denying you that good, it's going to create an energy of resentment. It will bring about a conflict that's very much like sibling rivalry. And even trying to be happy for others when they receive good things, when you are denying yourself that good, is another lie of the illusion being applied in a changing frequency. Sacrifice, struggle, victimization are all elements that the violet flame begins to transmute. The anger, the resentment, the fear of being left out, of not belonging, of being passed by, of having no value. These are things that the violet flame, the sacred alchemy, moves to transmute into trust, into faith, into a recognition of your own intuition, your connection with the divine. So, beloved masters, that you can use your power in love. Because you are powerful. And how you use that power really is your own choice, our master's choice. But how you use that love first changes you. You can take the power of love and turn it into a control game. And the energy will still be there for at least a little while. A point of negativity in the prayer field, in your realm of influence, is it doesn't last long, because a negative prayer field begins to disintegrate rather rapidly. So there may be a momentary feeling of empowerment, control, dominance, and then it all begins to crumble. And many people are just looking for someone who's willing to give their power away because they believe that's the only way they get attention. The violet flame moves to transmute the victimization and the domination. And it isn't taking anything away from anyone. It is giving you what has always belonged to you. The recognition of yourself as a master and the ability to take the energy of your divine inheritance, your sacred trust from God, and utilize it to create for yourself a life beyond imagination. Beautiful, loving, fulfilling. It may not be ostentatious at all. It may be very quiet. It may be in a cottage, in a cabin in the woods. It may be in a house on a hill. It may be in a mansion. What brings you joy? What fills you up? As you utilize the violet flame and it transmutes the fears that the illusion has set in place, you may find that things change within you. That there's not nearly so much neediness. There is not nearly so much desire to create a facade that makes others believe that you're something that perhaps even you don't accept. Because revelation is bringing humanity out of the shadows of separation where you have abided for lifetimes and into the clarity, the reality, the light of revelation that shows you who you truly are. And the transmuting energy of sacred alchemy also brings you to a place where you are aware that what you will discover as you are opened up to who you are within is worth finding. It's valuable. It's worthy. You are a shining being, an amazing human that is experiencing revelation within yourself. And the discovery, perhaps the greatest one of all, is that you are a master living the human life, rather than a human attempting to figure out what it would take to get to be a master. Using your power in love. In co-creation. In the interdependence with other masters to bring about greater beauty, well-being, harmony, peace on the planet, not by attempting to force anyone to be something that they are afraid of, but helping people to feel within themselves the worth and value, the God-given gifts of the virtues. And it is, beloved masters, to feel the power of your love within you.